What's good everyone, it's Kajani with a crafting and gathering guide for Final Fantasy XIV patch 6.2. In this video, I will give an overview of all things new with crafting and gathering. For gathering, I go over the new legendary nodes, breakpoints, prime collectibles, rotations, and talk about the new big fish. I will also give a general overview of what's new in the world of crafting and go over the crafting macros used to craft the new master recipes introduced in patch 6.2. There is a lot of information to go over, so let's get started. For gathering, patch 6.2 started off with a bit of a disappointment when we all found out that we needed perception of 3600 to gather at the new legendary nodes. That breakpoint was a little higher than what we had anticipated. However, the new melds are out courtesy of the balance. If you do not want to spend gil to remeld your gear, you should be able to use high quality Tiganita to meet the 3600 breakpoint. If you are on a budget, you can purchase the new script gear that was released this patch, and together with food, you'll be able to reach the breakpoints for the legendary nodes that were released in patch 6.2. To get the most out of your food buff while you're gathering, I suggest that you purchase a squadron rationing manual. It will extend your food buff by an extra 15 minutes. You can get them from the Wolves Den for 3000 wolf marks apiece, or you can receive 5 of them from a successful Grand Company squadron mission. With it, it should give you plenty of time to make your rounds without missing a node because you didn't realize the buff expired. Garland Tools has been updated with the timers of all the new legendary gathering nodes, as well as the timers for the new prime collectibles. Prime and Sublime collectibles are a new form of collectibles introduced in patch 6.2. The breakpoint to gather a prime collectible is 3700. Your goal when you gather a prime collectible is to aim for maximum collectability. At max collectability, the prime collectible has a chance of becoming a sublime collectible. Using ethereal reduction on a prime collectible gives you a chance to receive a crafting material. When you use ethereal reduction on a sublime collectible, you are guaranteed to receive crafting material. These crafting materials are used in the expert recipes released in patch 6.2. If you're familiar with how probability and RNG works in Final Fantasy XIV, you better hope you get many sublime collectibles. Otherwise, you won't be getting many materials from a prime collectible. At least that's been my early impression thus far. Maybe I've just had bad RNG, but I haven't gotten any materials from a prime collectible, and I haven't even gathered a sublime collectible either. I will definitely revisit this after putting more time into it and probably make a video in the near future. The Maya shell is a fish that was introduced in this patch that can also be caught as a prime collectible. However, its fishing window and the optimal baits to catch it are still being determined. Speaking of fish, patch 6.2 introduced 9 new big fish. The baits and fishing windows are still being determined, so stay tuned for more information. For crafters, everything pretty much went as expected. The new master recipe books can be purchased from any script exchange vendor for 1,200 white scripts. For all 8 master recipe books, you will need 9,600 white crafting scripts. For farming white scripts, my go-to recommendation is to craft the rarefied integral armlet. If you are casually approaching crafting or you are fresh to level 90, you can pick up the new purple script gear that's item level 590 that was introduced in this patch. As expected, the master recipe books contain recipes for the new high-end crafted gear, intermediary crafting materials, new potions, and food used in Savage raiding. The crafting materials for the raid food can be purchased from any script exchange vendor using purple scripts. You can purchase crafting materials for the endgame gear from Sahanti and Rodzid Han. Also, in your master recipe 10 book, you will find new expert recipes. These are the infamous recipes mentioned in the live letter that you will need to meet a minimum quality in addition to being able to craft the recipe in the first place. And when I look at the requirements, they might as well have put it at 100% quality. Regardless, at the present moment, this is just optional content and it's not even confirmed yet what these expert recipes will even be used for. It appears we are crafting materials for some sort of water otter fountain. I've seen a lot of guesses that this will end up being an optional furnishing item that you can place on your island sanctuary. fire. If that's the case, it better be an epic fountain for making us do expert recipes. I love me some expert recipes, so I will be making a separate video in the near future. Please look forward to it. We got a couple new exciting Glamour crafting recipes. First one being the Lawless Enforcer set. The primary crafting material you'll need to craft it is an exciting leather, which can be found in the Excitatron 6000. The second one being the Phase Crown weapon set based on the Dancing Plague Extreme Trial. The new Titania weapons look amazing. I feel like they blended everything about Titania into these weapons, from the pixie glow to the butterfly wings. To craft the Phase Crown weapons, you will need a dancing wing that drops from Dancing Plague Extreme. You can also get a dancing wing from desynthing weapons that drop from the fight, or opening up your wallet and purchasing one from the market board. Last but not least, a Glamour item released in patch 6.2 is the Sweet Pea necklace. It seems with every patch now, the developers release new seeds that can be grown into flowers to craft accessories. They tend to look nice, so I'm not complaining. The seeds to grow the Sweet Pea flowers can be purchased from any local housing merchant. Now let's go over the crafting macros for the master recipes released in patch 6.2. We will start with the 35 durability crafting macro that is used to craft the intermediary materials. For this crafting macro, you will need high quality calamari. It's 19 steps, so let's get started. Alright, we're going to start the progress phase with muscle memory, and then manipulation, veneration, and then waste not 2. The waste not 2 and manipulation is going to help us conserve durability, while the muscle memory and veneration is going to help us push progress. So we're going to go ahead and use groundwork here and then follow that up with a careful synthesis. Now our progress phase is done because now we're one step away from completing the craft. Alright, now on to the quality phase. We're going to start off with a basic touch and then innovation. The innovation is going to buff our next 4 preparatory touches. When all 4 are done, we are going to have 9 stacks of inner quiet. So that's another one, and then one more. Now we have 9 stacks, but our durability is at 5, so let's go ahead and use Master's Mend here to restore durability, and then now innovation, then a basic touch, then we will have 10 stacks of inner quiet. Our chance of getting a high quality item is currently at 20%, so when you use basic touch, it combos into standard touch, which reduces its CP cost to 18. So let's go ahead and use standard touch to continue to push quality, and then we will set up our quality finisher. That's going to involve using Great Strides and then Beer God's Blessing. So let's go ahead and use Great Strides, Beer God's Blessing, and now we are at 100%. We got a good here, and since I'm manually crafting everything, I'm just going to go ahead and use intensive synthesis, but the macro will use careful synthesis instead. Now let's go over the 70 durability crafting macro used to craft the master recipes for the gear, weapon, and raid food released in patch 6.2. With my stats, I use 3 high quality base items, which brings the initial high quality rating to 11%. So let's start the progress phase with a muscle memory, manipulation, veneration, and then a waste not 2. We are going to use 2 groundworks and then a careful synthesis, and then we will be one step away from completing the craft. So that's our careful synthesis. Now we are one step away. We're going to start the quality phase with an innovation and then follow that up with 4 preparatory touches. With each preparatory touch, we gain 2 stacks of inner quiet, and then when we're done, we will have 8 stacks of inner quiet. So there we have our 8 stacks. We're going to continue to push quality, starting with the innovation and then 2 prudent touches. With prudent touch, it increases quality at half the cost of durability. So looking at where I'm at the craft, I have my 10 stacks of inner quiet. So I'm going to open up the calculations window to make sure if I have enough to finish the craft at 100% high quality rating. I am really close. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Great Strides, and then I will definitely get the 100%. Beer God's Blessing, and then I am done 100% high quality, careful synthesis, and I am done high quality. So that's all I have for this crafting and gathering guide for patch 6.2. I will catch y'all in the next video. Peace.